Okay, so I've not got any response to it. So I assume that no one is using multi-currency in Tally. Okay. So let us understand the impact of using multi-currency in Tally, why multi-currency is very, very important. So one of the things is whenever we do import or export, okay, our customers or suppliers asks the invoice in their own currency. Generally, the payments are done, okay, either in their currency or in Indian currency. Okay, but we need to track what was our, say example, if I'm doing an import on 1st of April, I did an import of product which was worth $100. Okay, and today's exchange rate, let me take an assumption, today's exchange rate is 75 rupees. So my purchase price in Indian rupees is 7,500, 100 into 75. Okay, but I make the payment on 10th of April. On 10th of April, assume that the exchange rate for dollar has become 76. So I'll be paying my supplier at 76 rupees, which is typically 76 into 100, it is 7,600, right? But my purchase was at 7,500. My payment is at 7,600. So effectively, we are paying 100 rupees more, which means that we need to account that 100 rupees as our expenses, additional expense. So that is basically what we need to track for every transaction. Transaction by transaction, we should be able to track. Right? Okay. So let me just look at. Screen is not visible. Is screen not visible? Okay. Is it visible now? So Abhishek, is it visible? Dinesh, is it visible? Okay, so two things. Is my screen visible? See, I'm not on video. Okay, I'm on welcome page. I'm not on video. So you might not be able to see me, but my screen should be visible for you. Right? Okay. So in that example, what I was talking about, where your purchase, when you did a purchase, it was at 75 rupee per dollar. And when you are making the payment, it has become 76 rupee. The difference of 1 rupee needs to be accounted. Okay. And that has to be tracked across the transactions. Okay. So that is how we need to maintain. So let us just look at what are all the things that we need to do to maintain multi-currency. So the same thing, the purpose of training, it's very clear. Okay, to help our customers to effectively implement Tally API 9, ensuring the increased efficiency and elimination of duplication of work. So here I saw a lot of chat messages where a lot of you are doing import or export or both in your business. but none of you are using multi-currency in Tally. So it's very clear that you are doing duplication of work, because you are also doing transaction in Tally, and again you are keeping all those details on your Excel sheet to track the gain or loss on foreign exchange. So each one of you who are doing import and export are doing duplication of work to ensure that you are working in the organization. Am I right? So effectively, if you want to increase the efficiency and eliminate duplication of work, all of you who have told on chat saying that yes, we are using multi-currency, should enable multi-currency in Tally and start tracking all the multi-currency transactions and gain or loss on foreign exchange, invoice wise, bill wise in Tally, and not use Excel sheet. If that is going to happen at the end of this session, if you are confident saying that yes, you are going to do, I think we have achieved our purpose, right? Okay, so let's move on. So how do we configure? So the multi-currency, first thing we need to configure the multi-currency, right? So how do we configure multi-currency is what let us just look at. Okay, then let us move to the transaction. Okay, so now let's go to Tally. Okay, the same company which we are using for our training purpose. Okay, it's the same company that I have loaded. Okay, so now let us just start with an assumption. Let's start with a scenario saying that yes, we are importing the material, we are importing the product from United States of America, USA. It's very easy because US dollar, everyone knows US dollar. We all know the exchange rates. Okay, so let us just take a scenario. And we have a supplier who is sitting in New York, who is supplying us the material. Okay, so first we need to create the supplier account. So you know how to create the supplier account. So that has already, we have already gone through that. Okay, but we also need to create US dollar as the currency. So first, to enable the currency in Tally, okay, first thing is on gateway of Tally, go to the features, click on F11, go to the accounting features. In accounting features, you have an option called enable multi-currency in general. This is the option, enable multi-currency. Enable this, click on S, accept by pressing Ctrl A. You have enabled multi-currency. All right. Now, once you have enabled multi-currency, on your gateway of Tally, if you go to accounts info, you get a new option called currencies. Right. So I'm just showing you once again. On your gateway of Tally, press F11 features, go to accounting features, multi-currency, make it as yes. So example, I'll just show you. Okay, currently I'll just make it as no. Now in your, if you go to accounts info, do you see currency? It's not there. Okay, so just go to F11 features, accounting features, enable multi-currency, make this as yes. You will get this option called currencies on your accounts info on gateway of Tally. So this is the first thing that you need to enable. So once when you click on currency, here you have again three options: create, display, alter, and you also have exchange rate. So if you just go to display, there is only one base currency that is created, which is Indian rupees, INR. No other currencies are default there. So we need to create. So example, I'll just go to create and create one currency called dollar. Symbol is dollar. Okay, formal name is USD, US dollar. Now number of decimals is 2, which in US it's called as cents. What we call paisa is called as cents in US. Show in millions. If you want to show this in millions, generally they use millions. Yes, it is required. Suffix symbols to amount. If you want to suffix symbol to the amount, you could do that. Add space between symbol and amount if you want to do all these things. Word representing amount after symbol, cents. Number of 2 decimals. Okay, so you have enabled it. So you have created one more currency, which is US dollars. Okay, so once when you go to the currency screen, you also find what is the standard rate. Standard rate is your purchase rate. Standard selling rate. Sorry, standard rate is for your calculation purpose. There is selling rate. There is buying rate. Okay. So this we will come to the later stage as we move on. This is how you create currency. You could create multiple currencies like that. Say example, I'll just go and create one more currency. Okay, let me say euro, right? So euro currency symbol, okay, or euro, let me just take Australian dollars. Okay, I'm just saying $, Australian dollars. Okay, formal name is AD, Australian dollars. Okay. I just created one more. Similarly, you could create whichever the currencies that you want. Right? So I have 3 currencies now. One is base Indian rupees, one is US dollar, one is Australian dollars. Clear? Okay. Now let's go to transaction. So this is what you need to do in masters. There is no other thing. Okay, let us come to the exchange rates when we are doing the transaction. Okay. So now let me just go to the transaction. Accounting vouchers. I'm doing one purchase entry. So we are doing an import of the product. Okay. So let me just go to the purchase entry. Say example, I'm just changing the date on 1st of May. Okay. We are purchasing from one of the suppliers in New York. Okay. So we need to maintain his accounts and we need to do the purchase. Okay. So the supplier invoice number, there is a supplier invoice number. Okay. On 15th of April, he has done an invoice to us. So I have a new supplier which is not listed out here. I need to create. So I'm just pressing Alt C for create. Alt C for create on the ledger screen. Okay, at the party field. So I'm just saying it is Haider Inc. This is the supplier who comes basically under sundry creditors. Currency of ledger. See here, the currency of ledger default is Indian rupees, because our reporting is only on Indian rupees. For all our statutory purpose, when we close our books of accounts, we need to report in Indian rupees. So for this supplier, continue to have Indian rupees. Okay, because we need to track everything in Indian rupees. Maintain bill-wise details required. Address, New York. State, here change the state, sorry, country, change the country to United States of America. Contact person, Mr. John. Okay, if you have his mobile number, email ID, all these things that you could type. Okay, his email ID. HaiderInc.com. Okay, save. Now the same thing that we are doing. Okay, mode of payment. Terms of delivery. Mumbai port. Okay, so here I have one created earlier. I had created one purchase local. I will create one more ledger under purchases. So to create ledger, I'm just pressing Alt C on my keyboard. Import purchases typically comes under purchase accounts. Inventories are affected. Yes. Save this. So what item am I importing? So I could import from the existing list, or I might have a new product. Okay, so let me just say I'm importing Apple iPhone 6s. This is the product I'm importing. Okay, which typically comes under mobile. This group is not there. I'm just creating mobiles as the group. Okay, now how the unit of measure works? It's numbers. Okay, I'm importing 100 quantity. Now in the rate, okay, this is where you need to be a little careful. In the rate, okay, at what rate you are buying? Say example, the supplier is selling in US dollars to us. All right, so we need to account in US dollars. So what you do is, before giving the rate, just press the currency, whatever the currency that you have created. Okay, currency, say example, I'm just saying $500 per item. $500 per number is what I have typed. Once when I type the dollar, once when I type the currency symbol and the rate and click on enter, so it's automatically taken as $50,000. 500 into 100. Now I need to give the exchange rate. So once when you press enter on your unit of measure, it is asking for exchange rate. So $500 per number. And what is the exchange rate? Because this is my first transaction, okay, it is not able to know what is the exchange rate. So for the first time, I need to give the exchange rate. So example, I'm just saying it is at 75 rupees per dollar. So once when I type this 75 rupees per dollar, automatically you could see over here in Indian rupees it has got converted and it is showing you 37,50,000 rupee at 75 rupee per dollar for $50,000. Is that clear? Okay, so it's $50,000 and at the bottom it is also showing you 100 numbers, $50,000 at 75 rupee per dollar, which is equal to 37,50,000 Indian rupees. Okay, is this clear? And it's showing you the original supplier reference bill. I'm saying I get 15 days of credit to pay this $50,000. Okay, so I'm just showing you the screen once again. Okay, you could look at this. Yeah, Nisha is asking, it will be the current day exchange rate when purchase was made. Yes, you have to look at what is the current date exchange rate and you need to take that. Okay, so I'm just taking you through once again for you to understand how this transaction is done. Okay, you need to know it is little tricky. Okay, you need to know where you need to give the exchange rates. Select the party. The first thing is, in the party you need to specify which country. Okay, that is very important, specifying the country of the party. Okay, then have a separate ledger for your purchases of imports. Okay, so Yogesh Nayak is asking, can you show using double entry system? Yes, we will do that, sir. Just wait, we will do that. Okay, so purchase, import purchases is the ledger, purchase ledger. Then I'm selecting the item and giving the quantity. Quantity is normal, whether it is 100 numbers, 100 pieces, 100 liters, 100 kgs, whatever the unit of measure that you have selected. Then in the rate, you are supposed to give along with the currency of symbol of the currency in which you are purchasing. Generally, you will have the purchase bill in front of you, a soft copy or anything in front of you. Look at that. Based on that, give the rate. In the rate, prefix the currency symbol of the currency in which you are purchasing. In this example, it is dollars. I'm just giving $500. Once when I give that, it will open a new screen for you to fill in the exchange rate. For the first time, you need to fill the exchange rate. Okay, say example, I have just given 75 rupee per dollar. So it has converted to Indian rupee, which is 550,000 into 75, which is 37,50,000. Okay, still my entry is getting accounted both in US dollar and Indian rupees. For all reporting purpose, it is 37,50,000. But for my supplier, it is $50,000. Is this clear? If we are paying in split or partial with freight charges, sir, Rajesh, I have not come to the payment entries. This is just only the purchase entry. I'm showing it to you. If there are any freight charges that you are paying to the supplier, please add as part of your purchase entry itself. But if you are paying the freight charges to your freight and carrying and forwarding agent, then that you need to account it separately as a separate voucher. Okay, if you are paying split or partial with supplier, then you can add as part of your purchase entry. Okay, so anyhow, you have expense ledger called freight and forwarding charges. Just select that and make that as part of your purchase entry. Okay, so this is clear. Hope this is clear with everyone. Okay, fine. So now let us just go. Okay, so there are some questions coming in. Okay, it's clear. Okay, good. Okay, now let's move on to making payment for the purchase that are okay. Before we move on to the making payment, okay, one, let us look at what are all the reports that you could see. Okay, if you just go to your balance sheet, let us see, is there any effect in your balance sheet? There is no effect in my balance sheet. Okay, yes, of course there is a purchase. Sorry, there is the supplier Haider Inc. It is showing as I need to pay him 37,50,000 because for all our base, for all our accounting purpose, we use base Indian rupees. We don't use US dollars, right? Similarly, if I go to my P&L, my P&L purchase, it has got accounted as 37,50,000, right? Okay, so now let's come to against this bill, purchase bill, we need to make payment to our supplier. So the supplier has given 15 days of credit. So I'm just going to the voucher entry to make the payment. I'll just change the date to 18th of May. Okay, so on 18th of May, I'm making a payment. Okay, so how am I making a payment? I'm doing an online payment using my bank account. So, okay, so using the bank account, I'm making a payment. I'm just clicking the bank. Okay. Now, to whom am I paying? I'm paying to Haider Inc. So it is showing me 37,50,000, right? Am I paying in rupees or am I paying him in dollars? So in which currency I need to pay him? Yes, we need to pay him in US dollars, right? Since we need to pay him in US dollars, let us just go to the transaction. So how much I was supposed to pay? I was supposed to pay 50,000 US dollars. Okay. Assume that I'm paying all 50,000 US dollars. So I'm just typing $50,000. Once when I type $50,000, again it is asking me what is the exchange rate. So now here it is default picking 75 as the exchange rate because my last transaction in Tally was at 75 rupees. So it is just pulling that information. If now on 18th of May, let us assume that the dollar rate has gone up. We had purchased at 75 rupee per dollar when we made the purchase, it was at 75 rupee per dollar. Now when we are making the payment, let us assume that it has become 78 rupees. So I'm just changing this to 78 rupees. So there is 3 rupee increase. Means what? At 3 rupees I'm paying extra because my purchase price was at 75 per dollar. When I'm making the payment, it has become 78 per dollar, right? So this is the example I'm just taking. So now I'm not paying 37,50,000. I'm paying 39 lakh rupees, which means effectively I'm paying 1.5 lakh rupee extra, right? Now it takes you to the bill wise adjustment. This is very, very critical. You have to adjust against that particular bill in which you had purchased. Okay. So I'm just taking it as against reference. So it is showing me the invoice number. It is showing on which date I had purchased, at what rate I had purchased, what was the exchange rate, and how much money is due for them against this bill. While 37,50,000 is due for him, we are completely paying $50,000, but we are paying him 39 lakhs. 1,50,000 extra is paid because of exchange variation. Okay. So all these details that you could give, okay, the UTR reference number, all those details, fill these details, being payments made. Right. So now we made a payment. We made a payment of $50,000. In dollars, it was just 50,000. But if I look at from Indian rupee, we have paid more than what the purchase value was. Purchase value was 37,50,000 and payment is 39 lakhs, right? So if you look at your purchase value, it is 37,50,000, right? But for the supplier, we have paid 39 lakhs. So if you go to your balance sheet, this is where you will see the magic. So in the balance sheet, on your asset side, it is showing unadjusted foreign gain or loss. If it is showing on your asset side, it's the loss. If it is showing on your liability side, it is your gain. So 1,50,000 is saying it is unadjusted. Still you need to adjust this 1,50,000. Now if you just enter and get in, it will take you to the specific ledger of Hyderink, okay, in which against this invoice, against this purchase invoice, it is giving you the tracking. Is this clear? Okay, so now it is automatically showing you how much you need to adjust. What is the loss on this transaction? Right? Okay, so let's do one thing. A few of the participants were asking me to show this transaction in double entry mode. So let me just take the same transaction. This is my purchase. Okay, so this is in the purchase screen. If we want to use it as voucher, I'm just changing this to voucher. Okay, so this is the double entry mode. If somebody is using in the double entry mode, this is how the transactions look like. You are giving the supplier invoice number, date, the supplier name, and you are typing the USD over here. Okay, so I'll take a new transaction and do that. Would be much more simpler to understand. Okay, so let's take a new transaction and do it. But is this clear? Are there any doubts? Yogesh Nayak, kindly include GST part in purchase. You need to wait for the GST session, because just adding GST to this will add more confusion to the participants than showing it over here. Everyone will get confused because we have not started the GST session. Please attend GST session so that we could discuss there. Do we need to post differential entry to settle the account? Yes. Nisha, you need to post a separate journal entry to adjust this. If you want to make part payment, Srinivas, yes, you could do the part payment. Rather than paying $50,000, probably you could have paid only $40,000. We'll take that example and show it to you. So how to treat 1.5 lakh loss? Shanti, we'll show it to you, madam, how to treat that 1.5 lakh loss. Okay, I'll show it to you. Then we will go to double entry system. Okay, so now till this you are clear. Hope everyone is clear. Okay, so how to do the purchase entry? Okay, in your P&L, the purchase is accounted. When you go to balance sheet, there is a loss of 1.5 lakhs. Now, how to adjust this entry? So this is automatically showing you as gain or loss on foreign exchange. Now you need to adjust this. For this, you need to pass a JV. Journal entry needs to be passed. How to treat the loss? Yeah, that is what we will show you. Dinesh, how to treat the loss? We need to pass one journal entry. To pass one journal entry, say like example, we did a purchase on, payment on 20th. All right. So now generally this adjustment entries are done to close the books of accounts. Okay, example, I'm closing the books of accounts on 31st of May. So let me just take the transaction. Okay, you need to actually pass a journal entry to pass this transaction. But to automate this journal entry, where the system will automatically give you a lot of inputs on how to pass this entry. Okay, what you need to do is you need to configure foreign exchange gain or loss adjustment in the journal voucher type. So to do that, let us first go to accounts info, voucher types, alter, and just go to journal. Once when you go to this journal voucher types, here you have to create one new clause. Example, I'll say foreign exchange or currency adjustment. Currency adjustment, okay, is what we need to. You could name it anything. You could say foreign exchange, or you could say currency adjustment, which whatever the name you want, you could give that. Then once when you click on enter, it will take you to the new screen, and there you have an option. It is asking you use class for foreign exchange gain or loss adjustment, forex gain or loss adjustment. I'm saying yes. So to which ledger it has to be accounted? So there might be a gain or loss, right? So you need to create one ledger under your expenses. Okay, so I'm just clicking on Alt C, creating one ledger. Example, I'm saying foreign exchange gain or loss account, and grouping under indirect expenses. Okay, so go to journal voucher alteration screen, create one new class called currency adjustment or foreign exchange gain or loss, enable use class for forex gain or loss adjustment, and select the ledger as foreign exchange gain or loss account. Save this. Okay, this is the master configuration that you are supposed to do. Once when you do this, you could go to accounting voucher, journal. Okay, once when you click on journal, it is asking you which clause you need to use. If you are using for a normal transaction, just say not applicable. But if you are doing a foreign exchange adjustment entry, then you select this foreign exchange adjustment. Okay, so it has default taken in the account as foreign exchange gain or loss. Give the reference number if you have any reference number. Okay, so I'm just changing the date to 31st of May because I need to close the books on 31st of May. Okay, now here select the supplier name. In our case, it's Haider Inc. Once when you select the supplier name, it is automatically opening all the pending bills. So here you could look at this bill. Bill number is there, date of the bill is there, and unadjusted, it is showing what is unadjusted, 1,50,000 rupees. Select this bill, 1,50,000, and save this transaction, being loss on purchase, loss on import purchase accounted. This is a loss, right? Save this transaction. Now once when you have saved this transaction, now you go to your P&L. In profit and loss, you have purchase 37,50,000, and you have one expenses, foreign exchange gain or loss, which is under indirect expenses, which is 1,50,000 rupees. And then when you go to balance sheet, this 1,50,000 has gone out of your asset side and it has got adjusted in your P&L account. Is this clear? Now, if you go to your supplier account, say example, if you go to sundry creditors, okay, so your supplier account here, it has got nullified, it's not showing. So if I just go to my supplier account, go to display, accounts book, ledger, and go to Haider Inc. So here I'm able to see three transactions. One is my purchase entry, which I had purchased at 75 rupee per dollar, which is 37,50,000. Second is the payment entry, which I made at 78 rupee per dollar, which is 39 lakh. And the third is my foreign exchange gain or loss entry. Is this clear? So can I get any of the chat messages? Is it clear, or you have any doubts before we move forward? So hope I have answered this. how to treat a loss transaction. Okay, what are all the entries that needs to be done. Okay, so we will look at 2-3 other queries that has come up. Okay, one, how to do this in a double entry mode, in a voucher mode, and what to do if there is partial payments. Okay, so I'm just showing once again how to do the journal entry, how to pass the journal entry. Okay, so I'm just deleting this transaction for the learning purpose. I'm just deleting this transaction and once again do this transaction. So I've just deleted. Now I've not made this because I've deleted. So in your balance sheet, still you have unadjusted foreign exchange gain or loss of 1,50,000. Okay, then you go to your supplier of Haider Inc. It is automatically showing you here unadjusted foreign exchange gain or loss, and it has accounted 1.5 lakhs because we have made 39 lakh payment for a 37,50,000 purchases. So this is automated update that you are getting on the ledger. To nullify this, you need to pass one JV. To pass one JV, first thing is you need to go to your voucher types and enable the configuration for your journal. So in the journal entry, create one new class, call it as foreign exchange adjustment or currency adjustment, whatever the name that you want, and enable use class for exchange gain or loss adjustment, and create one ledger under indirect expense, call it as foreign exchange gain or loss account. Okay, save this voucher type. Once when you have saved this voucher type, then you could come to transaction accounting vouchers. Okay, and click on journal. If you want to use the adjustment class, if you are doing the adjustment entry, use this adjustment class. Okay, and here select the party. Once when you select the party, automatically it will list out all the pending bills of the foreign exchange. So select this and adjust this amount. So I'm just saying being loss on import purchase accounted. Save this. So now once when you save, in your balance sheet, automatically that foreign exchange gain or loss has got nullified. It is no more showing. And in your profit and loss account, you have got one new expense, which is typically foreign exchange gain or loss. Okay. And when you look at the party account, display accounts book, ledger, Haider Inc. Here that entry, journal entry is appearing over here, and the books have been adjusted without any problem. Clear on this? Hope everyone is clear. Do you have any queries before we move on? Okay, so now let us look at one more transaction, one more example of the purchase. Okay, in normal double entry mode, if somebody wants to use it in double entry mode, let us just look at how to do that in a normal double entry mode. So now I'm just going to the purchase. So let me just change the date, 1st of June. I'm doing a purchase. I'll go to purchase, and we are doing it in a normal invoice mode as voucher. All right. So supplier invoice number. Now I'm purchasing from an Australian company. So that was one US dollar. Now I'm purchasing from a supplier in Sydney. Okay, so I'll just say Sydney Sports Inc. So I'm purchasing from him, Sydney Sports Inc. They are basically my sundry creditors. Country is Australia. Okay, so here I'm just doing only accounting entry. I'm not okay. So let me just look at from the product, whatever the product that we are purchasing. Okay, so example, I'm saying I need to first give the currency over here because it's asking for the amount. Australian dollars. I had given that as the symbol. $1. Okay, of say 1 lakh Australian dollars. Right? Now it is asking again for an exchange rate. Because I'm using this again Australian dollar for the first time, there is no record in the system was what was the last transaction rate. So default it is showing me 1. So now example, I'll just say Australian dollar is 25 rupee per dollar. Okay, for our example purpose. So it is 25 lakhs. Okay, new reference, 10 days of credit. I need to pay by 11th June. So debit is going to my import purchases. So what item am I purchasing? So example, this is a sports company. They are into manufacturing of sports goods. So example, I'll just create an item. Cricket bat. Sports material. Okay, it's in numbers. I bought 100 cricket bat at Australian dollars 500 per cricket bat. So it is 50,000. Okay. Then I'm buying tennis bat Australian dollars, sorry, quantity 100 numbers Australian dollar 300. So now it has automatically picked 25, which is 7,500, which is 30 USD, 30,000 USD. Still, I need to adjust $20,000. So I'm purchasing one more item. I've created one more item. I'm purchasing one more item. Okay, let me purchase hockey sticks. Sports material numbers 100 at Australian dollars 200 per item at 25. Right? So 25 lakhs has got adjusted. So I bought 3 items. Okay, cricket bat 100 numbers at $500. Tennis bat 100 numbers at $300. Hockey sticks 100 number at $200. Is this clear? Is the transaction clear to everyone? Srinivas, I'll come back to you about part payment. Yes, I've noted it down. Okay, so being purchases of sports goods. Okay, so I have made a purchase on 1st of June. So now if I just look at my profit and loss account, purchases has become 62,50,000. Okay, one of 37 lakh and one of 25 lakhs. Right? Then if I go to my expenses, foreign exchange, only 1.5 lakh is got adjusted. That is for the previous entry. Okay. Now if I go to my balance sheet, there is no foreign exchange gain or loss, because the foreign exchange, unadjusted foreign exchange gain or loss will come into existence only once when you make a payment. Before making payment, the system doesn't know what is the rate it has to adjust. Am I clear? Okay. Super. Okay. So now let's move on and make a payment for the purchases that we have made. Okay. So I'm just going to accounting vouchers, going to my payments. Okay. Paying through HDFC Bank to Sydney Sports. So I'm supposed to pay how much? I'm supposed to pay 1 lakh Australian dollars. So how much am I paying now? Example, let me say I'm making a partial payment. So example, I'm making partial payment of $60,000. Okay, so I'm just changing the date to 15th of June. So I'm saying Australian dollars 60,000 I'm paying. Right? What is the rate? See, now it has taken $25, 25 per dollar. So what is the rate that I'm paying? So now in this example, let us take that the dollar rate has fallen. In the previous example, we saw the US dollar rate went up before we made the payment. It went up by 3 rupees. Now let us say the Australian dollars has gone down by 2 rupees. Okay, now when I'm making the payment, the Australian dollars is 23 rupee per dollar. Okay, so once when I type 23 rupee per dollar, how much money I'm paying? I'm paying 13,80,000. Now again, I need to adjust against the bill. Okay, against this $1 lakh, I'm paying $60,000. So 40,000 is still pending. So I made a partial payment. All these details fill in. Partial payments made. Okay. Now let us look at the report. What is going to happen? If I go to my P&L, there is no effect, because it's not affecting any of my P&L because I have not done any adjustment entry. So P&L remains the same. If I go to my balance sheet, now unadjusted foreign gain or loss is showing on my liability side as 2 lakh rupees. Okay, how did this 2 lakh rupee come? And it is showing on my liability side, means there is a gain on foreign exchange. In the previous transaction, the US dollar went up, so we lost money. In this example, Australian dollars has fallen, so we are gaining to the extent of 2 lakh rupees. That is what it is showing here. Okay, now if I go to display, accounts book, ledger, and Sydney Sports Club. So here, how much I have purchased? 25 lakhs. How much I have paid? 13,80,000. What is the unadjusted foreign exchange gain or loss? 2 lakh rupees. So first thing is we need to understand how this 2 lakh rupee came. Right? So our purchase value was 1 lakh US dollars, and our last partial payment was done at 23 rupee per Australian dollars. So the difference is 2 rupee and our purchase value was $1 lakh. So 1 lakh into 2 rupees, 2 lakh rupees is as simple as that. Is that clear? My purchase was at 1 lakh Australian dollars, which was at 25 rupee per dollar. When I made a payment, last payment, it was at 23 rupees. So I gained 2 rupees, and 2 rupees into 1 lakh Australian dollars is 2 lakh rupees is my unadjusted foreign exchange gain or loss. Okay. So let me do one more thing. Let me pass one more transaction. So as of now, so one is as of now that you need to understand the loss is 2 lakhs. Okay. Now we have made only the partial payment, right? We have not made the full payment. Still another $40,000 needs to be paid. Yeah, Dilip is saying you made payment only for 60,000 Australian dollars. Yes, still 40,000 is pending. We need to make one more partial payment. So what is your question? Yes, we made only partial payment of 60,000 Australian dollars. So Dilip, do you have further any question, or you wanted to just clarify we made only the partial payment? Okay, so how many of you agree with unadjusted amount which is coming, which is 2 lakhs is correct? Does anyone have any doubts why this 2 lakhs is coming? Okay. Yes, I thought about it. Okay. A lot of people are saying it should not be 2 lakh rupees, it should be 1,20,000 rupees because only $60,000 is paid. Right? Okay. So a lot of people are asking me why it has gone to 2 lakhs, it should be 1,20,000. Okay. See, one thing that you need to understand, what it is showing on your system, what is that 2 lakh which is showing on your system is notional loss. It is not an actual loss because you have not made the full payment. Okay, always gain or loss is calculated on the total value that is payable, total purchase value on the last closing rate. As of today, as of we understand in Tally, the current closing rate is 23 rupees. Right? And the total purchase value is $1 lakh. Ultimately, I need to adjust for whole $1 lakh. Okay, and as of 15th of June, as we made one payment, it is you need to take it at the full purchase cost, not at the partial purchase cost, though you are making a partial payment. Because you are closing your books of accounts, and this is just a notional loss that it is showing on your system. Okay, and generally we don't pass any adjustment entry until we make the full payment. Srinivas, this is not an actual loss. This is a notional loss which is automatically populated on your balance sheet, and it is indicating you that you have to account this. Assume that we don't make any payment till 31st of March. Still another 40,000 is pending. In that case, you have to account for whole 1 lakh rupee as 2 rupee loss. That is what it is showing you on this system. Okay. So this is just a notional loss till you make the full payment. Okay, it will not show you, it will not tell you what is the actual loss. And if you are closing your books of accounts, this 2 lakhs is what you need to account as loss, because as on 15th of June, as on the visibility of the exchange rate that is available with us, this is the loss. Okay, it is not 1,20,000, it is 2 lakh. You can't take it for the partial payment, you have to take for the whole bill amount. This is 2 lakh rupees is the gain. Yes, this is the gain. Okay, so let me do one thing. Because we combined both partial payment and the gain, okay, you are getting a lot of questions. First, let us make the full payment. Let us make one more payment and close this, and then let us look at how this values are getting affected. Right? Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me just go to Tally and make one more payment entry on 29th of June. Right? I'm paying through HDFC Bank to Sydney Sports Inc. Now how much I'm paying? I'm paying Australian dollars 40,000. At what rate I'm paying? See, now on 29th, let us assume that the rate has gone up to 24 rupees. It's not 23, it is 24. Okay, and I'm paying against the same bill, which is 40,000 is pending. If you look at here, it says Australian dollar 40,000 is pending at 25 rupee per dollar. Okay, I've accounted $40,000, which is 9,60,000, and made the payment online. Being full bill settled. Right? So $60,000 I have paid at 23 rupees. $40,000 I am paying at 24 rupees. Still I have not done the foreign exchange gain or loss entry. Okay. Now let me just pass this entry. Okay. Now let me look at my balance sheet. So how much unadjusted loss or gain it has to show? Can anyone guess what should be the loss, or sorry, what should be the gain in my balance sheet now? So what is your guess? What should be the amount of gain in your balance sheet now? So I have got answers. It is 1,60,000, 2,40,000. Any other guess? 1,60,000. 1,20,000 plus 40,000. 1,60,000. 2,50,000. 1 lakh. Yes, Shashikant, you are right. It is 1 lakh. Why it is 1 lakh? Because the closing rate of dollar is today 24 rupees. And when we adjust this, we are adjusting to the last transaction rate. Let us just look at, okay, what should be the exchange rate. Okay, so since we are using the bill wise details, it has become 1.6 lakh. Okay, if you just look at this transaction, what you have passed is 60,000 and 40,000 you have adjusted on 15th and 29th. So the bill wise adjustment, it has taken for 1.6 lakhs. Okay, so those who told 1.6 lakhs, Vijay Kumar, Ravi Raj, Manjula, Srinivas, Vinod, Kothari, all you are correct, because these are all bill wise details we are adjusting. So the first 60,000 was paid at 23 rupees, where we gained 2 rupees as 1.2 lakhs. In the second payment, partial payment, we made $40,000. We gained 1 rupee, which is 40,000 rupees. So 1.2 lakhs plus 40,000 is 1.6 lakh is our gain. Right? Okay. So now if you go to party, display, accounts book, ledger, Sydney Sports Inc. This is what it is showing, 1.6 lakhs. So to adjust this is again what Tally is showing is an automated figure. Now you need to adjust this transaction. To do the adjustment of this transaction, we again need to go to, say example, we do it on last day of the month. Most of the time we'll go to journal entry, currency adjustment. Who is the party? Sydney Sports Inc. Now it is showing one bill. Okay, as 1.6 lakh. Adjust this. Being gain, this is not loss. Gain on import purchases accounted. Voucher value doesn't match. Okay, so once when I go here, so since it's a loss, so sorry, since it's a gain, okay, I need to just 1 second, journal entry, currency adjustment. Okay, so I need to make this as, since it's an gain for me. Okay, so I need to go and make this debit credit adjustments. One second, since it's a debit credit adjustments. Okay, I need to debit Sydney Sports Inc. to 1,20,000 against this bill number. To gain or loss on foreign exchange. Gain on import purchase accounted. Right? Save this. Now display accounts book ledger. If you go to Sydney Sports Inc. Sorry, I just taken 1,20,000. Yeah, I need to take 1,60,000. Sorry. I made a mistake. This should be 1,60,000. Okay, so now it has got adjusted. Now in your balance sheet, if you look at your balance sheet, this has gone out. In your P&L, okay, if you look at your gain or loss on foreign exchange has become minus 10,000, means you are at gain now because you had one loss of 1,60,000 and one loss of 1,50,000, sorry, and one gain of 1,60,000. So it has net off and you have 10,000 gain now. So it is showing you minus. Is this clear? Okay. So how many of you will implement this in your office? In your books of accounts? So all of you who told that we are doing imports or exports should actually implement this. Okay. See, while we have done this, I want everyone to work on this after this session.